Nigerians woke up Tuesday morning to another increase in the price of petrol from 537 naira to 617 naira. The latest increase, which has been largely attributed to market forces, is the second within 2 months after the removal of subsidy on petrol. Industry players have attributed this current increase to market forces reacting to the removal of subsidy on the product. Nigerians are reacting to these increases, especially with the cost of transportation, impacting quite heavily on other goods and services, as well as the cost of living. There is a sudden increase in urban-rural migration, drastic changes in lifestyles, change in architectural tastes and designs, social life pruning, fall back to agriculture, need for a second income, and so on. Recall that the price of premium motor spirit (PMS) rose steadily from 6 kobo in 1973 to 617 naira as of Tuesday, July 19, 2023. This informs our focus on Nigeria today. Welcome to the program. I am Victoria Clinton. Joining me in the studio to discuss increase in the price of petrol is an energy expert and a former consultant to the Senate Committee on Natural Gas, Olabode Shomi. Good to have you with us.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here, as always.
And here also is Minasra Kogo, a public affairs analyst. You're welcome to Nigeria today.
Thank you very much. Happy to meet you, Nigerians.
I'll start with you, Olabode. There is some disbelief on the faces of Nigerians in the reality they now find themselves. You know, a lot of them are trying very hard to understand the economic realities. What can you say to make them understand this fuel price, this new fuel price?
Okay, I think one of the challenges that we've had as a people is that we have analyzed this thing not holistically, but in terms of the immediate effects. And for perspective, I'll put it this way. The impact of subsidy is a system. And a system is the sum total of its parts. So basically, it's like, say, if a patient has malaria, he may be feeling and it takes chloroquine. The mouth may be bitter, the head may be spinning, but those are part of the symptoms of the healing process. Now, what all the participants, all the contestants, at least the top contestants for the election agreed to was that they were going to remove subsidy. And what some of them may not have agreed to is about when and how. But the issue is that there was going to be removal of subsidy. Irrespective of whenever you removed it, there were going to be economic pains, the kind that we face now. But what a lot of our economists and those who have more capacity within core macroeconomic issues have not done is not to look at just the short-term impact. They have not looked at the mid-term impact and the long-term impact. It is when they look at the whole picture, both the short-term impact, the mid-term impact and the long-term impact, that knowledge can come into Nigerians and people can be able to decide whether the pain is worth it or not. And another factor with that is that government themselves has a responsibility to educate citizenry. If you during the economic downturn of about 2005, 2006, within the US, it also affected Australia and all that. I remember very vividly, I was in the US at the time. Virtually everybody, including the guy who was selling groceries, could speak some of the economic things, because every day there was always somebody analyzing the issues, not in technical jargon, but in the language that the straight man can understand. People need to understand, I mean, from the rumors that we are hearing today, that at the end of this month, the allocation is going to be about 3 times what it had been in the past, and probably the highest in history. Now, those are implications of subsidy removal. People need to be aware of that from the beginning, not now. Now, there was the issue of the 8,000, where the special advisor to the president emphasized that there was more to the palliatives than the 8,000. It was the responsibility of government to let people know ahead of the 8,000, so that we are not taking issues by rumor and by social media to really know what is happening. So first of all, there's a need for us to understand the whole picture, not just the short-term impact, and for more information to be available from those who are controlling this.
Okay, Midasara, from your own perspective, I know he's talked a lot about the price and
Yes.
economics, trying to explain to all the midterm, the short term, and the long term. But from your own perspective, what awareness is required immediately to help Nigerians deal with the situation and the economic realities ushered in by these developments?
Well, certainly a lot of tremendous awareness is needed, owing to the fact that under Section 14, subsection 1, sovereignty belongs to the people. And under Section 16, that talks about the economic policies of the government, as per the constitutional provision, it is all aimed to servicing the people. And then governance is a social, symbiotic social contract between the governed and the led. So it is very, very important that certain explanations should be made to the people so that they will understand more of the benefits of the withdrawal of the palliatives, the subsidy, rather than thinking about the pence. Ultimately, prices will definitely come down. By the time all the details regarding this subsidy removal now come on force. For example, what are the causes regarding this upsurge in the prices? One of it is exportation of the crude oil out of the country. By the time you have a number of sufficient modular refineries within the shore of the country, that cost will be cut out. The cost of returning back, the transportation cost, the cost of even refining there, all these costs will now be a thing of the past. And then there will be more quantity of petroleum in circulation within the country, because there will be more number of people that are investing in refining, in dispensing and other things within the country. And then apart from that, government should not restrict itself to say withdrawal of subsidy, then that is all, I fold my arms. Government has the responsibility of controlling the inflationary trend. It shouldn't be left with the central bank alone as per the statutory mandate, but rather the inflationary trend in the country regarding the price of naira vis-a-vis super currencies, dollars, pound sterling, and the rest. These two helps in determining what will be the per liter price of our own petroleum substance. So the power of our economic strength, the power of our currency is another thing. Then the regulation of the market too. It's very important that we have the midstream and downstream regulatory authority in the country. It should be up and doing to really checkmate all illicit and unacceptable practices perpetrated by either the major marketers or the independent marketers. Then another thing is that the government should come out, should go beyond the issue of palliatives, should come out and say the certain things they will do and bolden the economic policy so that people will understand that yes, this withdrawal of the subsidy is in our own interest. Currently, the state of the economy is in a very sorry state. President Tinubu, I pity him for inheriting a government that has very, very little fluid of economic power to sustain the challenges, the humongous challenges. By the time the government is settled, you have ministers on board, you have heads of ministerial department and agencies involved, economic policies are coming on board, and then the government should be able to now think about other things that will be more sustainable, rather than the 8,000 naira or any other thing they are talking about. I envisage a situation whereby we can borrow from probably like the Abuja time, when there was an increase of 4 naira, the government set up the Petroleum Trust Fund. You can call it Petroleum Special Tax Fund, and then get trusted elder statesmen of highest pedigree to manage this fund, so that they will come by means of social intervention, so that citizens will be able to get free dispensation of medical facilities at the hospital, governmental hospitals free, educational materials and educational charges will be free, exam fees should be free, all those other things, the issue of water supply, the issue of electricity regulation, so many other things should come on board, rather than just giving money to the respective state governments and say, manage this. We have seen from the past experience during the Buhari time, when he came with palliatives. When you not palliatives, what do you call it? What do you call it? There's type of money he was giving them at the beginning of his comment. Bailout fund, Paris Club refund, and all those things. Government should rather institutionalize an agency that should really come and do those things that will impact in the life of common man, in the area of security, in the area of food, in the area of water supply, in the area of education, in the area of health, in the area of social relationship generally, so that it will be seen that yes, the withdrawal of the subsidy has impacted in increasing the standard of living of an ordinary common man, which is in tandem with the goals and aspirations of President Bola Tinubu. Definitely now you will see this rise. And another thing to be explained to the citizens is the volatility of this type of programs. It is intended, it has the potentiality of price increase and price decrease, depending on the competition, depending on the market forces, depending on the strength of our currency, depending on the availability of the petroleum products within the short of the country. We shouldn't rely on Dangote alone. Dangote is a businessman. His establishment of flour plant did not make flour price reduce. His establishment of sugar did not make sugar reduce. His establishment of any other thing did not make reduce. But what is going to really crash down the price is give so many licenses to people to establish modular refineries so that there will not be cost of transporting the crude oil outside, cost of bringing it back, cost of paying for its refining there, cost of doing all these things by virtue of the foreign exchange weakness of Naira to international currencies. By the time we have all these things within the country, and then you explore more areas where there is potentiality of having petroleum deposits, so that the availability will ultimately, in the economic terms, determine the lower distance of the price, so that we will have more volume of petroleum to dispense, to sell, rather than increase in order to have means of sustainable governance in the country.
Yeah, but a lot is in the offing to be done.
Yes,
you know, just like you said, they're not depending on one. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Yes, the whole thing has to do with the ability of the governmental infrastructure to come out and educate the citizenry, so that citizens would now, at the end of it, embrace and take stake in this subsidy removal, so that they now turn it to their own, so that everybody will now believe that it is a collective responsibility for us to stabilize the price, to really bankroll economic vibrancy in the country.
Well, that of course will be done as their policies unfold, and you know things are put in place. Like you rightly said, they will still have the ministers and the rest of them. Meanwhile, let's take a break here to listen to the comments of Nigerians on the issue of the increase in fuel pump price. Don't go away.
The landing cost of a refined product right now as we speak is about 530. So I'm sure you don't expect the marketers to bring PMS to the country 530. You know, the cost of transportation, the cost, some taxes they will have to pay along the road, that value change, so we expect to pay 600 and something. So definitely it has to do with the crude oil and also the refining price in wherever they are bringing the crude or the PMS from. So yes, it has to do with the price of crude oil, global price, yeah.
Since the whole price hike, I haven't filled my tank. But every week I use nothing less than maybe 25,000. I don't even want to calculate how many liters that is, but I know that's what I use every week to go to work, come back and stuff like that. So no more strolling around, no more going to visit anyone unnecessarily, nothing like that. Just what you have to do is what you do. That's all we do.
Before I used to fill it with 13,000 naira. Now I'm spending close to 70,000 naira to fill it now, because it's almost 80 liters. You can see the difference. The gap is so wide, so much. As a civil servant, how much is my take home? Before you talk of taking care of your family.
I feel happy, to be honest, because it almost seems as if you're working just to fuel or to put petrol in your car. And with the price increase of almost, well, from 195, it's now about 600. That's over 300%. Understand? So I don't know how they are also coping, but I feel sad.
Welcome back. It is still Nigeria today, and we are still discussing the increase in the pump price of petrol. And my guests are still here with me, two gentlemen. Now, you had the reaction. They are facing Nigerians are facing reality, the harsh reality of the development. What's your comment on this?
Well, there is no way there will be increase in prices, especially increase in prices of a commodity like petrol, that it won't affect the value chain, primarily because virtually everything, one way or the other, is connected to it. I mean, the farmers, yes, they farm in the rural areas, but they need to bring it to the cities, and transportation cost is a significant part of the total cost. So one of the places that government may want to look into is basically how to help, how to provide alternative, how to provide cheaper or even free transportation for movement of food prices. That may actually affect the prices in the market. That's one. But like I said, these are short-term impact. The issue we should be looking at is how long are things going to be remaining like this? So, and when they change, what are the changes that are going to come along with it? Because the argument for subsidy removal is that we are supposed to experience pains like this, but by the time they change, we are supposed to have better roads, we are supposed to have greater infrastructure, we are supposed to have railways, we are supposed to have improvement in healthcare. Those are the promises that go with it. So rather than spend all the time, I mean, my foot hurt, but the person actually has leprosy. So rather than actually looking at my foot hurt, why don't we look at how the total human being can be a better person? There is nobody that does not know that Nigeria is a complex situation of many anomalies. It's not just the issue of currency. It's not just the issue of infrastructure. It's not just the issue of education. So there are promises that this thing is supposed to achieve. Why don't we, as citizens, as stakeholders in the Nigerian entity, put greater pressure on the value chain of governance? Why don't we put greater pressure on the states, greater pressure on the local government? Because at the end of the day, it is more important that the system works. There's a lot of attention on the federal government, which is true. And President Tinubu himself said, don't pity me. So we are taking him to his word. We are not pitying him. And in the reality of it, what we are saying is that he has greater work to do. We are happy and willing to help him to do that work as Nigerians that are interested in the Nigerian project. But it is incumbent upon all of us, the private sector people, to give analysis. People who are involved in the oil and gas industry, the IPPG, the OPTS, the associations who have greater competence to analyze these issues, to come up with figures other than the ones that NNPC is coming up with, so that people are more careful before throwing figures out to Nigerians. That way, the system works. That way, Nigeria benefits. And then attention is also given to how the money is spent. Because we can cry from now till high heavens, but what good does a pity party do for us? The issue we should be looking at in terms of solution orientation is that, yes, we find ourselves in these difficult, challenging times, which we will always find anyway. But how long are we likely to be in this situation? And when the situation is over, what are we supposed to be seeing? In the process of the situation getting over, what are the things that are supposed to change? Those are the things I expect those who are experts in economic analysis to be putting attention on, rather than the short-term part of it. Yes, it's good to talk about the short-term, but there's also a mid-term effect and there's a long-term effect. And those are the things we need to have, the total picture of the situation at hand.
So, that's already the president said, don't pity me. Don't pity me. He said that you pity him. Now, you know, there are on the price side of it, there are reports that there is presently urban-rural movement. Is this a good thing, you know, looking at it from the bright side? Because for whatever reasons, whatever has disadvantage, surely must have its disadvantage, must surely have its advantage.
No, when you are looking at that advantage, look at it from the angle of productivity value. The tempo has dropped down. So many entrepreneurship do not get the optimum number of their workforce going to work because of this. And so many things that are of less economic value are not being transported. So there are so many effects of it. What is important now and very, very fundamentally critical is for the National Economic Council to quickly be convocated. The National Economic Council should be convocated under the leadership of the Vice President with all the governors present there, so that a holistic decision should be taken. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation should equally be there, because Secretary to the Government of the Federation is not Secretary to Federal Government alone. Since 1985, the title was changed. He is now supposed to be the custodian of unification of all the governmental apparatus at the federal, at the state, at the local government, including some very important public interested bodies. These meetings should be called off, should be convocated very, very quickly, so that various discussions on that will be done. Discussions regarding the issue of taxes, discussion regarding the issue of modular refineries, discussion regarding the issue of the stability of the currency vis-a-vis the international currencies, the issue of insecurity, which is hampering the effect of, which is having hamper effect on agriculture and the movement of persons and other things. All these things holistically should be convocated, so that within a period of 3 days to 1 week, all of them should sit down with all the experts that should be invited, so that people can come and brainstorm on the realistic palliatives that should be rolled out, realistic palliatives that should be rolled out immediately. Because the delay in rolling out the palliatives too is adding to the fufu over this issue of the pains people are being subjected to. So it's very important. The market forces should come, the experts in the oil industry should come, the stock market people should come, the central bank officers should come, governors should come, the governmental machinery should come. Unfortunately, we don't have a Minister of Finance up to now, but definitely there is economic team under His Excellency President Tinubu. Those members should be there, and then a very, very important and serious decision should be taken. The reason why you are seeing all these problems is because there is what I will call rush in announcement of all these things. President Buhari ought to be the one to announce all these things before his exit. Unfortunately, President Tinubu become the cross bearer. He now announced it at the correct time when it should have been announced long before. So that is the reason why he is facing all these things. But these are bitter, practical realities that will lead to giving us a final panacea to the economic pains we are facing in the country, and people should understand it.
But does it really matter who announces it? But
it matters because the reason why I'm worried is because it has come at a time when you don't have the National Economic Council had not been convocated. The Minister of Finance is not there. The central bank is facing its own music there. Yeah. So by the time you get this disjointed kind of lack of economic coordination in the country, it's a wrong period for you to snowball this type of very serious decision that is of very vital economic and socio-political effect for the nation. So, but by and large, what is important now is the government should be up and doing, sensitizing the citizenry that ultimately they will be the beneficiaries of this, and the benefit will be that will bankroll Nigeria into economic stability, prosperity, and development.
Okay, shortly before we go, Olabode. Now, you know, the price has been increasing since 1973. Just like I said in my intro, from 6 kobo to 617 naira. Now, the NNPC are saying is the market forces. So is there possibility that at any time, or do we see this product, the prices stabilizing anytime? So
price stability is basically macroeconomic, which is a CBN issue. So we were talking about monetary policy issues and all that. They are largely responsible to manage that. The truth is that because of the nature of our import dependency, once there is a fluctuation in the price of the naira to the dollar, everything that is import dependent gets affected. So the people who are responsible for ensuring that there is stability with those market forces are the economic experts, the CBN, and the banks. It has nothing really to do with the people within the energy sector. So like you said, the minister who is coming into an oven. That's the Minister of Finance, and the economic team, there will be some fire around them. But we expect that they will create some ice and ensure that there's peace for everyone.
Thank you very much. And that's it on Nigeria today, but a very big thank you to Olabode Shomi, an energy expert and also former consultant to the Senate Committee on Natural Gas. Thank you so much for your contribution and time.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And also the Nasra Kogo, Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much.
It's my honor always to contribute for nation building. Thank you.
And to our viewer, thank you so much for always being a part of this. Remember, the program Nigeria Today is weekday by 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also watch this and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24. I'm Bikari Atlington. Goodbye.